Kirsten. This is your first strength session for the new year, 2019. And so this is going to be workout number 1. During this training block, we're going to focus on more strength. So the last block that we did for about the last 2 months was more stability. Now we're going to move on into strength. And the one after this one will be more so about power as we move into the late off-season, early in-season training. So we're going to start with a straight leg deadlift during this session. But before we go into that, we want to make sure that you're able to do a good hip hinge. And I think we've done this before. By the way, there's a couple exercises in this training block that you have done before. They're going to be familiar to you. A couple new ones. We are starting with the straight leg deadlift. And to learn a hip hinge before we do a deadlift, though, it can help to have like a little stick. We've got a cheap little mop handle here. You're going to have that flat against your back. This is to do a hip hinge. Slightly flex to your knees. You don't want them locked out. And you got that straight on your back. And let's see, I am hinging from the hips. And so if you're rounding out, that's not what we want. We want this. So your spine is staying relatively neutral. You want to make sure it's exactly what it says, hip hinge. So we're hinging from the hips, not rounding out the spine. So when we do a deadlift, when we get into the straight leg deadlift here, you want the movement from the hips, like that, not like this. This is how people end up injuring their backs. So you take your stick, practice a deadlift, get in front of a mirror. That can help. So you can look kind of sideways like this. If you need to, you can hold hand there and hinging. So once you have that down, you want to practice that a little bit, and that can be a pretty good warm-up for these sessions, for the deadlift. Once you have that down, then you're going to move to your actual deadlift. Now here we have the power rack here that we use. You may not have that, but let me know if you're not able to do a deadlift setup like this in the gym across from your work. If you can't, I can give you some modifications, whether we use dumbbells or something like that. When we get into deadlifts, personally, I like using and I typically coach people to use a combination grip. So instead of both hands, an overhand grip like this, we're going to take one and turn it around. And for most people, especially as it gets heavier, that can help maintain your grip, and your grip doesn't give out. It's not going to slip out of your hands as quick. It's not going to be an issue for you starting out, but it is something that can be a good habit to get into. And it doesn't really matter whichever way you're comfortable. I like to use the combination grip. I did not mention. So in this training block, we're going to be doing 2 to 4 sets of each exercise and 5 to 8 repetitions. So you want to use a weight that is going to allow you to do 5 to 8 reps. With perfect form. If things are breaking down, as always, we stop, especially with these heavier weights. If you feel any actual pain, stop. Should not hurt. I want you to work hard, but I don't want you to work to the point where you can get injured. Again, I can't emphasize that enough with these heavier weights. It is easier to get injured with this sort of training. So 2 to 4 sets of 5 to 8 repetitions. You're going to take 60 to 90 seconds rest between sets. So with this first workout, we've got 5 exercises. You're going to have the first 2, starting with the straight leg deadlift. The other one is going to be a single arm dumbbell chest press that we're going to do here on the bench. and just going to alternate those, but with 60 to 90 seconds of rest in between. After you do 2 to 4 sets of those, then you're going to move on to the last 3 exercises that you're going to do as a mini circuit. But again, 60 to 90 seconds of rest in between each. So back to our deadlifts. All right, with deadlifting, you're going to get up close to the bar. I've got it just about against my shins, knees not locked, slightly flexed. Then this is a straight leg, so we're going to hinge from the hips all the way down, grab the bar, back in a neutral position, come up, shoulders back, and down. Exhale on the way up, inhale on the way down. And I'm using a little bit lighter weight here than I would use if I were actually doing a work set, but it gives you an idea of the form. I can maintain my form a little better that way. So again, slight flex to the knees, hinging from the hips. All right, I'm gonna pretend I took 60 to 90 seconds rest. Then we're going to the one arm chest press dumbbell on your bench. Arm straight out to the side. You may want to hold the bench with the other hand. Press up. Okay. And if you need to, you can squeeze the bench with your knees. That's what I'm doing down here. All right. And I'm not dropping way down where that shoulder's unstable. I'm keeping it in kind of stable position. So if you see the other side, I'll give you this from a couple different angles. Holding the bench. Using a weight that you control. This 5 to 8 repetitions. If we're going to spin that around, you want to see from the other side, see from the top end. Tight abs, so nothing is moving. Oh. Oh. All right, so those are our first 2 exercises. And moving on. Our next 3 exercises in this workout, in workout number 1, are we're going to do a single leg hamstring curl on the TRX, a bent over dumbbell row on the bench, and a lat pull down on a cable machine. So with your single leg hamstring with the TRX, really it's best to combine the straps to do this. So I think we've gone over this before, but if you don't recall, I'll go over this again. You take one strap through the triangle of the other one, and then you take this one through the one that went through the first time. And then you give it a little pull there, and then it's solid. So then you have a good solid foot cradle here for one leg. And we want to have these adjusted, adjust the length so that they are a little bit higher than the size of your foot off the floor. And these are pretty challenging. So get in, drop one heel in there. And we're going to the single leg because, again, this training block, everything is 5 to 8 reps. So it makes it a little bit harder. And whether your hands are on the floor or up like that, or if you want to go I Dream a Genie style, that's fine. I'm just going to let mine kind of relax here. And push down with the heel, push down the shoulders, lift your butt. Oh wow, I did, 1 hour postal swim this morning. My legs are shot, so this is probably pretty ugly in the video. Anyway, you are gonna lift up, pull. I'm actually gonna cheat here with my hands a little bit. Like that. You're gonna do, pulling that heel up. If you get to the point where these are too easy, you can slow them down, especially on the negative. And if you feel it in your calves, you want to pull your toes up towards your shins, pull up like that, then that should shift the tension from the calf up more so into the hamstring where we're really trying to hit. These should be pretty challenging. I think these will challenge you a bit. Then from there, 60 to 90 seconds rest, and we go to the bent over dumbbell row. So on these, if I'm gonna row with my right arm, left knee on the bench, left hand on the bench, right foot on the floor. And the range of motion is important on this because we're gonna go from the bottom of it, your shoulder girdle should be level. So if you're looking at me straight on, if I row on the bench, I'm level here. I'm not dropping down like that. So we're keeping it up here, that's the bottom, not this. And then the top is pulling your elbow up wherever the shoulder goes. So, exhale, inhale. Notice my back is flat. It's tight abs. Nice and controlled in the negative. All right, so you should have a pretty good view of that with this angle view here. Big things again are don't drop that shoulder. That allows the shoulder girdle to rotate, and keeping your back flat. So that was the second exercise in the second group here in this trilogy. From there, after again 60 to 90 seconds of rest, you're going to go to your lat pull down. These can be either seated or kneeling. Most of the time here in the studio, we'll do them kneeling. You may not have access to a setup that allows that. If there's a lat pull down or lat pull down cable machine in your gym, it probably has a bench with the knee brace already on it, and that's fine if you want to do that. It can help lock you in place. In here, I'm going to go kneeling like this, squeeze my butt, keep to put the hips in extension, keep my hips straight. It's kind of a wide grip. You're probably going to be out probably close to the bends like this, and pulling down towards your collarbone and then back up. Lat pull downs, always in front. You'll see people in the gym pulling down behind their head. Most people do not have the shoulder mobility to pull it off safely, and they're either going to strain their neck or injure their shoulders. So you're coming down in the front, right towards your collarbone, going right here. Can help to think about pulling your shoulders down, pulling your elbows towards your hips, so that's the movement right to there. Keeping your wrists straight. Don't want to curl your wrists, so you should not see this at the bottom. Think about your elbows. Pull with your elbows. Everything else will follow wherever your elbows go. So if you pull, wrists are straight, and cable, handle, everything is going to come right along. So, exhale, inhale. Again, we're using weights here for both this bent over rows and these pull downs that are going to allow 2 to 4 sets of 5 to 8 repetitions. If you can do 3 or 4 sets with 8 repetitions with perfect form, bump that weight up, challenge yourself a little bit. If things are breaking down and, if you go 7 or 8 reps on the first set, and then all of a sudden you can only make, 5 reps on the second one, and the third one, it's like 3 reps and things are completely falling apart. You're probably trying to push for too many repetitions on those first sets. So you really want to leave a little in the tank. Kind of the rule of thumb is if you feel like you've got 2 repetitions left in the gas tank when you finish that first set, and that will usually allow you to hit a similar number on the second set and possibly the third set. But second set you're going to be working, third set you probably really be working. If you're feeling good and you make it a 4th set, that's full on beast mode. You're doing really well then. And you know, if you got time and you feel good, you can go for that one day. So I think that's everything here with workout number 1.